Bam. Boom, boom, boom. Shswacks. Stay tuned. It's about to go down. It's about time that I stake my claim on other bad puns incoming. So, as with everything in life, get a sharp knife. And preparation is key. Kosher salt, it's the best salt. Screw what you heard about sea salt. Kosher salt or no salt, boy. Alright, so half a pro tip is black pepper in a grinder specifically. You want a chunky grind to your black pepper. It gives a nice heat to what you're eating. But the main pro tip to this is that you always season before. Contrary to what you might think, you cannot season after. You're just adding salt and pepper and you're tasting those separately, not the meal or food item with that seasoning. So season before and beat your meat. Right, time for the next step. Wait, no, that's the next episode. Cool. So you're gonna want to take this kosher salt and you're just going to season your steak. Don't have an overdose on salt, but whatever. Also, black pepper, one hand. Yeah, black pepper happened. Okay, so you flip that over. Don't be afraid to throw that on there. Get you some more of that salt and just get it. Get it. And yeah, more pepper time. Alright, so now that you're done with that on both sides, you're going to let that sit for a minimum of 20 minutes, preferably 30. That way you can let the salt do all its cool food, sciencey stuff, whatever. Also, grab yourself a stick of butter. You won't need the whole stick. I say that because I know you, and you'll want to use the whole stick. Don't use the whole stick. Also, don't forget to let your dog out. Animals need love too. Awesome, so get yourself some olive oil. Also, preheat your oven to hot. Actually, 400's perfect. So, unless you're like me and you have an oven that preheats really fast, it's weird. Get your olive oil, your pan ready. You're gonna want to, relatively soon, preheat this pan on the stove. Then you're gonna add your olive oil, walk you through it, don't worry. That oven preheat time will give that time to get where it needs to be at, 30 minutes-ish. I'm already at 20, so we're good to go. And we're on to the next step. Ultra pro tip time, you need the cast iron for this specific stovetop to oven cooking. If you don't have that and you don't know why you need cast iron, message me and I'll let you know why. So anyway, if you don't, we can do this just minus the oven step. You're just going to cook a little bit lower temperature and keep it on the stove. Alright, so one final tip here before I take a break from the cooking for a minute to do some stuff around the house. You're going to want some liquor on hand. Preferably something that's 80 proof or higher. I've got a little bit, emphasis on the little bit left, of this Kraken. It's great. Rum, tequila, vodka. You can cook and flambe with really anything. Flambe is when you pour it in and you light it and then it's like woof and you cook the alcohol off and it's cool and showy. But that's not what we're doing in this episode. I'm just drinking liquor. Alright, so this is going to move pretty quick once it starts happening, so I'm going to do my best to document it with you guys. You got this cast iron heating up. If you use cast iron a lot, you'll know that it's going to smoke a little bit. That's fine, especially once you add that's going to smoke a little bit. Steak is ready. You got rosemary, thyme, and bay leaf ready, and butter. I didn't forget you, baby. Alright, so you got that in there. You want a nice, even, full covering at the bottom of the pan. Actually, you're going to want a little bit standing in there. You want a decent amount of that. Steak is ready. And we're going to throw this in here in just a minute once this gets nice and hot. Do you see it? The little smoke rising? Alright, so it is time. If you do this, you always want to remember to always lay away from you. Because if you go, you're going to dump it all over you and it's going to be totally gay. I hope this works. And that's the sound that you want to hear. Let it sit. It's going to stick to the bottom of the pan. That's okay. When it unsticks, that's why you have tongs. When it unsticks, you'll know time to flip. It's going to be 60 to 90 seconds on the long end. Come released. There we go. And next side. Look at that sear, baby. That is hashtag flavor locked. Yeah. Alright, so now is when you're going to add your rosemary, your thyme, and toss that bay leaf in there, baby. And just give it a little bit more tender love and care from the olive oil friend. Good to go. Yeah. Woo, that's hot. Only downside to cast iron. Just make sure that oil gets moved around enough. And periodically check with your tongs here. Just to see if it's kind of still sticking. Not sticking. Sticking. So it needs a little bit more time here. Thicker, obviously, makes sense. But we're doing just fine. So now it is time to turn that off. Open your oven. Take her off. And she's going in the mother father oven for about 2 minutes. Super dank opportunity to clean your workspace. Be careful, it's hot. I know you know that, but sometimes you don't know that. So I gotta tell you. Alright, so your time has elapsed. It's sat in there for a while. Look at that. So beautiful. You're gonna put it back up on the stove. You turn the burner off. There's still gonna be some residual heat going on. You can leave your oven on for a little bit just in case it's not quite as done as you would like. And now comes the butter. Throw that SOB in there and get a nice good work around in there. You're gonna want that to melt pretty well, and then once that melts, you're gonna start spooning your goodies on top of your steak. Right, so for any of those wondering, say, homie, why do you put in the butter super late? Because, and that's why. In all honesty, if you put butter in too early, it's going to burn and it's going to be terrible and super disgusting. You got to put it in super late in the game, clutch player, and you let it just baste in all of its goodness. And pretty much whenever you're ready, it's time to let it rest. So, you pulled it from the pan, and now it's on your cutting board, whatever. You want to let it rest. Any type of meat that you're cooking, you always want to let rest. There's residual cooking that's going on, and you want that to take place. Residual cooking is cool. Residual cooking while still actually cooking in the pan, not so much. So you're going to let that sit for at least 5 minutes, and that 5 minutes is a perfect time to clean out your cast iron. Because if you leave that forever, or really too much longer, it's going to be really hard to clean, and you're going to have a bad time. So, remember that super dank kosher salt? Yeah, well, that's what all of that is now. You want to pour that in there after you've rinsed it out. You want it to be hot, obviously, and that's going to make your abrasive, and that's what's going to clean your pan. It's super awesome. You're welcome for the ultra pro tip. Remember that cast iron pot? This is it. Feel old yet? See how it's still wet? You want to put that on like a medium-low heat, and you're going to let that dry itself out to make sure that it is dry, because rust is cast iron's arch nemesis. So there it is, a steak cooked to perfection, at least my idea of what a perfect steak should be cooked to. If you like this video, comment, subscribe, give it a thumbs up. Never mind, this isn't YouTube, and yeah. But anyway, I might do this again. If you think that's a cool idea, actually legit, let me know. Because I love cooking and I like making a fool of myself in public. Thanks for watching. This has been Rad Eats. Final thing to do here is, now that your pan is fully dry, add a little bit of olive oil. You're going to spread that around, and that is what creates your basically permanent non-stick coating on your pan. You're gonna let that sit until it's smokety smoking. I had the heat a little high, so it's already doing that. Just give it like a few minutes and you are quite good to turn off your stove. Let it deheat with your stove, cool down, whatever words you want to use. And yeah, ta-da.